Polymarket is completely rigged. So to stack the odds in your favor, I built a Polymarket whale tracker. And I've got some of the biggest traders on the platform. This system was completely vibe coded using Claude Code, and the data is up to date every single minute. This guy here, RN1, he's placing some regular trades, but they're not that big, right? There's $600, $200, $500, quite regular. Some of these are within 10 seconds, which means that it's either automated or they're using some kind of bot system. This XG base guy here, he's doing even bigger trades. So have a look at this one. Placed about an hour ago for $16,000. Here's another one for $25,000 and an even bigger trade for almost $57,000. But it gets even better. Check this last guy out, KC123. This one blew my socks off. On the 30th of March, he placed one trade for $436,600 on the Maple Leafs versus the Ducks. And within 2 minutes, he placed another trade for the same game, this time for $60,600. And in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how you're going to build this using vibe coding inside of Claude Code. And better yet, I'm going to show you exactly how you do this for free. Completely $0. Stop watching the Polymarket UI. By the time a price move shows up on your screen, the whales have already entered their positions and left you with the crumbs. If you're still trading manually, you aren't an investor. You're just asset liquidity for institutional bots. And you don't need a $200 a month alpha Telegram group to tell you what's happening. I officially ditched the manual grind and used Claude Code to build a private whale tracker for $0. Because if you can't see the big money moving in the terminal, you're already behind. So let me show you how you're going to build this. So the first step is to find a free solution. And the way you're going to do that is by heading over to a website called OpenRouter.ai. Now, I'll go into more detail on a separate video that I launched the other day. If you want that, just stick around. At the end of this video, you'll see it pop up on the screen. Just watch it. I'm going to show you exactly how you do it in detailed steps. But basically, I'm using StepFund 3.5 Flash. The reason for this is A, it's completely free. You can see it says it's free in the title. The second reason is that it has a 256,000 context window. The third reason here, as you can see, that the input and output tokens is set to $0, so it's completely free. And the reason I chose this language model is because if you go to apps, you can see that the most used platform for this language model is OpenClaw. They've used 3.23 trillion tokens. That's an insane amount. But secondly, look at this, Claude Code, which is exactly how I'm going to show you how you're going to build this today on this video. And Claude Code users have basically burnt almost 400 billion tokens. So that's the first signal that I know that this is going to work for this Polymarket whale tracker. The second indicator is if you go over to benchmarks, and you can see here that OpenRouter basically benchmarks language models across different tests versus other language models. And the one that I'm looking at specifically is the coding index. So you can see here that it's got an index score of 31.6. Doesn't really matter. It's an arbitrary number. What's important is that it's better than 80% of the models that they compared, which is huge. And if you're interested, they've got some other reasoning and some other metrics here. I don't really care because I've got the two most important ones, which is it's free and it can code. The second prerequisite is going to be the prompt that we're going to use inside of Claude Code, which is this prompt here. Now, I've spent a lot of time on this, building this out, so you can just grab this, copy it, paste it into your terminal, and just get started. If you want access to this prompt, just type in Claude Code in the comments and I'll send it to you. But basically, it gives you an overview of what we're going to require, the backend requirements, the front-end requirements, the data handling. So ultimately, this is going to be a Python script, but I haven't done any of the programming. This is all going to be vibe coded by Claude Code using StepFund. It's got a profile picture, the username, any other information available. This is going to grab all this information through Polymarket's API. So you know that this is 100% correct. I'm not scraping this information using tools like Epify or Python scripts that scrape Polymarket's website. I'm actually getting this through their API, through their own data sources. And I've also given Claude Code some setup instructions. And the last step is you're going to want some Polymarket traders. Now, if you're already on Polymarket, you're probably following some of the whales on the platform. If you're new to this, you can head over to x.com, formerly known as Twitter, and do a search for Polymarket traders. Because there are a lot of guys that actually trade and show you what they're doing in public. And X is a great place to find them. So do a search for Polymarket traders. You're going to see a bunch of search results. Here's one of them. Here's Xbase 8884, which is one of the whales that I added into my whale tracker. You can see here they've got the actual details from Polymarket themselves, which is obviously going to have more data than your whale tracker. That's not the point, right? The point is that you see their trades as soon as they're executed. And remember, this system is refreshed every single minute. And here's another wallet that you can copy. Swiss Tony joined July 2025, 300 something thousand views. You can see their profit loss. And you just go through this, just basically find their Polymarket profiles or the user IDs, and then you can plug it into Claude Code. So I'm inside of Google's anti-gravity. This is where I'm running Claude Code. You can use any IDE. So anti-gravity, Cursor, Replit, there's VS Code. If you're a Windows user, it really doesn't matter. And all that means is that the IDE is running locally on your machine. So there's a couple of prerequisites before we start building it. The first is we're going to need a folder. So just create a folder called Polymarket or call it whatever you want. You can put it on your desktop and then you just open up anti-gravity, point it to that folder. Everything else that you see inside all the subfolders, all the Python scripts, the Flask log files, the fetchers, everything has been built by Claude Code. I haven't done any of this because I'm literally vibe coding, giving Claude a high-level manifest to scrape the Polymarket API every 60 minutes. And basically, Claude built everything you saw. It built the local dashboards, it flags any wallets, it drops all the transactions, it shows you some of the biggest trades on their platform. There's no expensive API wrappers, no guru monthly fees, just raw agentic intelligence running locally. Now, there is just one FYI here. If you are going to use a free language model like Stefan, sometimes it might hit the rate limit purely because it's completely free. There's hundreds of thousands of people running this on OpenClaw, on Claude Code, sessions like I'm doing. So OpenRouter's servers are going to get hammered. But that's absolutely fine. Just wait it out. Claude Code knows what to do, and it'll just carry on building from where you left off. So literally, I've just taken the prompt from my Google Docs and pasted it here. And it starts thinking about it. And this is why I love Claude Code, because it actually plans before it executes. So you can see that I'm going to help you build a Polymarket trader tracking web app with Flask and SQLite. These are all free tools. You don't need any APIs. And remember, it's completely free because we're using a free model on OpenRouter. And so it's going to create a complete step-by-step solution. And all in all, this took me about an hour to build from start to finish. For most of that, I didn't have to do anything. I literally just sat here. I was doom scrolling. I was scratching my ass. I was eating blueberries and just literally accepting whatever plan, whatever execution manifest that Claude Code generated. Sometimes there were some errors, but it's completely fine because this is agentic building. I could just prompt it. I could just put it back into the prompt window and just say, fix this. So you can see here that it's importing Flask. It's running the render templates with JSONify, which I don't know what that is. And then it started basically build all these files. You can see the JSON script files, the CSS files. So CSS is what you're going to see on the dashboard. That's for the internet side of it, just to view it on a browser. You've got all the fetch files. So we want to grab this information every 60 seconds. You could do it every 30 seconds. I left it at 60 seconds purely because I don't want to hit the Polymarket rate limits. Then it's got the backend files, which are .bat. It's got the .sh. It's got the trades database. So we're going to use this information. We're going to save it on a backend. So we have that information to hand whenever we launch the browser. And best of all, this is all running locally on my Mac. I don't need to spend money on some cloud server somewhere to basically have this hosted. Now, you can absolutely do that if you want to host it on, say, Netlify, Vercel, or somewhere like Fly.io, because this will be running irrespective of whether your machine is on or off. It doesn't really matter. You can see here that it's writing the backend files. It's starting the backend server, which is Flask. It's running the fetcher. It's writing the README. So that's just, user interface, user information for anybody that let's say if you were to host this on GitHub, you push it out there, you want to share this with other people, you can absolutely do that. It's now writing the virtual environment, the quick start, the task updates, the project structure. Everything you see here has all been built by Claude Code, completely for free. It just blows my mind because, put yourself 10 years ago or 15 years ago, right? You'd have to pay somebody on Fiverr. And I've done this. I've done projects in the past where I found a freelancer on Fiverr to build Python scripts for me. So the Fiverr Python market for freelancers has absolutely crashed. There's no doubt about it because I could do it myself. Once it's done all that, it will then tell you the exact step-by-step instructions, what you're going to need to do next. So the first thing is you need to install Python because we're building Python scripts. If I want a macOS, a Linux, Windows, it's got everything. It's covered every facet of this, but I'm not actually going to do this because I'm going to show you exactly what I did in the next step to kind of move this forward. Then it's going to say open terminal, navigate. If you're on PowerShell for Windows, you're going to do this inside of PowerShell. It's then telling you to install dependencies. So I need to install this upgrade.pip and requirements.txt. Then it's going to tell you to initialize the database. And then it's going to start a fresh fetcher session. So this is just to fetch the trades. It's just another Python script. And then leave the window open. You'll see a message like this. And then step 6 is start the web server. And this is running on my local host, which is a local server on my machine. You're always going to need to host it somewhere, right? Whether it's on your Mac Mini, on your desktop, on your Mac laptop, Raspberry Pi, it really doesn't matter, right? Now, for most of us, we're going to use a local server because it's completely free. But if you wanted to do it on a cloud, you can also do that. And then you open the app. So you can see here that I'm running it on localhost port 5000. So what you get is you're going to get all of this, but basically everything I showed you at the start of this video. And it even tells you how you can manage the app. But seriously, since I'm lazy, since I'm an automation king, and I'm busy doom scrolling, I want Claude Code to do this for me. So here you go. I just put in a prompt, do it for me. And yeah, so Claude knows that I'm the king and Claude works for me. So I'll set everything up for you right now. Let me execute all the installation and configuration steps, guys. It's never, ever been easier. You just got to be a little bit creative, put in a little bit of sweat equity. This is going to take you anywhere from like an hour to maybe like 90 minutes. But that's absolutely fine. You're not actually doing anything. So now it's installing Python. It's upgraded the pip package manager. It's upgraded whatever this is. It's now running the virtual environment. So I guess it can upgrade and host pip on there, whatever that means. It's now installing the Python dependencies. It's initializing the SQLite database. So all the trade information, we're not storing it inside the browser. That would be way too clunky. We're actually using a database in the backend. It doesn't even matter. You don't have to be a database administrator or some kind of technical person. Claude Code will do it all for you. It's now starting the Flask server in the background. And you can see here that it's actually fetching the trades. And it's testing the Polymarket API. So you can test it. You actually test the API. Now, before AI, I used to do a lot of API integrations, right? You had to go on the API documentation for the site. You had to go through where it's nested. So most people use REST API. It's just a format, a protocol, like a syntax. And you go through it and you have to find the individual endpoints. So if you want to fetch a trade, that's one endpoint. If you want to execute a trade, that's another endpoint. If you want to refresh a trade, that's another endpoint, right? You have to go through all the documentation. Now in 2026 with Claude Code, which is by far the #1 coding solution on the planet. I'm not even using the best language for this, by the way, because if I was to pay the $200 a month subscription, I would get access to Claude Opus, which is the #1 language on the planet for coding, but that costs a fortune. I'm actually doing this with StepFun, and I'm still getting, almost the same kind of responses, almost the same output. You can see that it's checking DNS for whatever reason. It doesn't really matter. I don't really care because I'm sat here vibe coding. Why would I care? It's checking the fetcher output, so it even knows what to do, right? It's going to go out there, grab that information, grab the trades, and check. And I wanted to show you the power of AI, right? Because it didn't know what the Claude API structure is, whatever that means, right? It wants to grab some API data. There's a problem, and now it's found it using the Claude API that uses REST, not the GraphQL, right? So whatever it was doing, whatever it was building in the implementation phase, it came across a stumbling block, but it's smart enough. It knows what to do. It's not exploring all the REST endpoints. So like I was saying to you, this is what I used to do manually. I used to go through this in the documentation like 10, 15 years ago and do it myself. Now AI can do it for me. I don't need to read any of it. I don't need to understand it. Life's a lot easier. And when everything is said and done, you're going to get a congratulations message. All done. Your Polymarket trader is fully built and running. Open your browser at this port. You've got 5 demo traders. So I actually took those out and added my own real whales that I showed you. And I showed you exactly how to find them with platforms like X. There's also Reddit. You can find a bunch of traders that are sharing their Polymarket wallets. 69 synthetic trades just means it's placeholders. It's just dummy data, right? It doesn't matter. The point is, it's testing the platform. It's testing the actual interface and to make sure that the whale tracker works. At which point you can just remove all the dummy data, the placeholder data, and put in your own whale information based on their user ID or the actual, if you get the link to their Polymarket profile. It even tells you where all the files are located on my desktop under this folder called Polymarket. And it even tells you how it works, right? So the fetcher runs in the background, fetching and generating trades every single minute. Flask serves REST API plus web interface. The front end displays everything with search and details. And you can see here that access to the app, the current status, everything, it's working, it's checked it for me. The app is fully deployed and running. The failed background tasks were just temporary test processes. It doesn't really matter if you get some errors. Look, that's part of life. If you're a programmer, you get errors, you debug it yourself, right? In this age of AI, you don't have to worry about it. It doesn't matter. The error codes make no difference. You just prompt it inside of Claude Code. If you need to, it doesn't need to, because when it sees the errors, when it sees the roadblocks, Claude Code will actually go back, figure out what the problem is, debug it, and then move forward. It's really that straightforward. Look, I know the pro coders are going to tell you that you can't build a reliable tracker inside a terminal. But while they're busy writing unit tests, my whale tracker just caught a whale entry on the AI leaderboard market 20 seconds before it hit the front page. That 20 seconds is the alpha. And if you want the exact Claude.md file that I used to build this, I've dropped it inside of the Profit Lab. The link is in the video description. So stop paying for information that should be free. Set up Claude Code, connect it up to OpenRouter AI, find a free language model, and build your own whale tracker. Stop being the exit liquidity for all the big boys. They make plenty of money and they don't need your charity. So I'll see you inside the lab. And before you go, if you enjoyed this video, smash the like button, give me some love for the YouTube algorithm, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, because as you can see, I'm somebody that drops AI bombs. I want you to use AI to make money from AI and to basically smash the competition in the face. Thank you so much if you made it this far. Before you go, do me a favor and say it with me, something magical is going to happen today, because when you install Claude Code, when you connect it up to OpenRouter with a free language model, and when you start building apps and services like a Polymarket whale trader, it's going to give you a massive advantage. An advantage where the big boys don't want you to have. So stop what you're doing, get Claude Code running, start building, and I'll see you when the next video drops.